welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Cindy. I am at Simply Cindy. I am a psychic medium. I have lots of tools in my basket. Astrology is something that I love. So, thank you so much, guys, for joining all the way through Monday through Friday. Today is Friday, TGIF. We've got a couple things to go through over, but I did want to talk about Uranus tonight. And hopefully, Uranus will let us talk about him because that's Uranus, always changing stuff. Uranus is in Taurus. Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018, right? So, in 2018, we all did videos about how Taurus and Uranus was going to act, what was going to be going on. We only had glimpses. We could see it was going to go forward, then it was going to go retrograde, then it was going to go forward, then it was going to go retrograde, right? We are at the ending of the retrogrades, right? So, Uranus in Taurus in 2018, I'd said this, y'all are going to see a big thing about food. You're going to see a big thing about agriculture. You're going to see a big thing about plants. You're going to see a big thing about money and how we make it. You're going to see a big thing about your self-worth, about relationships, about the body ourselves and how to take care of it, about the need to survive, and about tradition. That's all Taurus. Okay, those are all Taurus themes. Now, Uranus, the planet Uranus, or as some people call it, Uranus, Uranus is about the future, innovation, freedom, liberation, revolution, originality, the future, electrical impulses. That's all Uranian energy, right? So when I said Uranus was going to go into Taurus, I said we could be dealing with some like emotional destabilization because Taurus is about being stable, about being comfortable, right? Taurus does not like discomfort. Taurus does not like instability. And here goes a planet going into Taurus where there's instability. I mean, my chart is ruled by Uranus. Okay, so my life can flip on a dime, right? You guys have seen it do it. Like all of a sudden, just one day, bam! I gotta go. I gotta do something. I gotta blah 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 blah. And it's calmed down a lot because I've learned to work with the Uranian energy. Right, it's been there all my life. So Uranus will do sudden changes. Uranus wants to give you, like I said, Jupiter is trying to help you find your wisdom, right? And so it will teach you that. It will show you that. Pluto is trying to help you find your power. Pluto is trying to help you find a lot of things, but your power, right? And for you to step in it, in your power, and for you to release these traumas. That's Pluto. So it does things to like help you do that. Uranus wants you to find your freedom. Uranus doesn't want you stuck. So Uranus is going to do things to help that happen. And if that means switching your world upside down, then that's what that means. So he can, sometimes you think it's a Pluto thing, but it's a Uranian thing. Okay. So it's sudden changes. It's science. It's the future. He wants you to see the future, and he wants to liberate you. He wants you to have the freedom. He wants you to feel the freedom, right? So what happens when he goes retrograde? Because like I told you, not every planet acts the same when they go retrograde. He went retrograde in September 1st at 27 degrees and 15 minutes, right? So if any of you have a planet in Taurus at 27 degrees and 15 minutes, so I would say from 29 degrees to 21 degrees and 15 minutes, okay? If you have a planet at any of those degrees in Taurus, you are being affected heavily. How that is, it depends on the planet that's there and who it's talking to while it's there, as well as Uranus. Okay, does that make sense? That's why astrologers do what they do, right? I can tell you this stuff, but unless you're used to reading charts, you probably won't understand. So It is going to be retrograde. We have seen it since September 1st, retrograde at 27 degrees and 15 minutes. It's going to go back all the way to 23 degrees and 15 minutes. Okay. And that is January 30th, 2025. So we are dealing with Uranus retrograde until January 30th, 2025, right? Now, what happens when he goes retrograde? Well, he's already shown us these instabilities. He's already shown us these, the way to be free. Remember, I said with Jupiter too, they've shown us our path. They've given us some luck, right? So, but when it goes retrograde, he's asking you to look over these things. And when Uranus goes retrograde, it will cause you to be skeptical. It'll cause you to like want to do something and have some restraint about not doing something if that's going to cause instability. So you'll have this fight within you. I want to do it. I don't want. I want to do it, but I don't know if I can do it. I don't want the instability. It's much safer over here than to try to leave, right? You can also have the feeling of not fitting in or not conforming. Like you don't want to conform. You see that in society. We're not conforming, right? That's all with the help of, it's not the main thing, but it's the help of Uranus retrograde. It's having us look at those things again. And it's having us say whether we want to conform or not. We don't, when it's retrograde, you tend to not want to conform, right? You have because you want the feeling of freedom. You want that independence, right? You want the transformation, right? And so whatever that's going to be, that's going to be. But then you have that restraint of, yeah, I really see that that's the way to go, and it's gung ho, and yeah, I'm not alone in this, but that's going to cause me to come out of my safe zone. And because it's in Taurus, we want to be comfortable, right? And so you're going to have that push and pull. Does all that make sense to everybody? So you'll want to do it, but you'll have the fear of not doing it, right? You're going to have here's the thing too, is by this time, some of y'all are really tired because you've just been going, because Uranus is electricity, right? And Taurus is the body. Well, what happens when you electrocute the body? You get a reaction, right? So think about it that way. So you have a lot of energy, you have a lot of inner energy, right? And so when Uranus goes retrograde, it's just a lot of inner energy that you're having to deal with. Your mind is going, your emotions are going, everything's going, right? And you have to learn to like work with that, right? There's the inner work that we say, and that's why we do the meditation. That's why we ground ourselves. That's why we have the energy run through. Does all that make sense? So, right now, everybody's battling. I want to be stable. I know that that's probably going to get me stable because Jupiter came and showed me that. But I'm kind of doing really well here, and I don't know if I'm ready to move yet. But I know I should because I know that that's where it's going to make me stable. That's where my comfort is. But I'm a little comfortable here. But I know I should be doing it there because that's going to like make it always comfortable. This is just a temporary comfort. And you kind of know this, but there's this battle going on between you, right? We're seeing the food, we're seeing the plants, we're seeing the hurricanes, we're seeing, you think about Taurus being earth, Uranus being electricity, coming and moving the earth. What is that? Right? That's eruptions, that's tsunamis, that's hurricanes, that's storms, that's all of that, right? And it's showing us. It's showing us because this is the time where we're rethinking, redoing, readjusting for what? For the freedom to have the stability, the luxury, the comfort, the way that we want to make the money, because money is a part of the life right now. It is changing, but it hasn't changed yet, right? So, how do we make the money? What are we that could be coming up too? I've been shown how I could make the money. Am I ready to put in the work to make the money? This is one thing I know about Taurus. They are not afraid of work. Taurus will work. They will work like I don't know any Taurus that doesn't have 2 or 3 jobs. I really don't. Honestly, the only one I think I know is not even alive. That was my mother. Like, that's the only Taurus I know that doesn't have a second, third job. That, and it's not like they need it. They just are. They work. They will get their self to a comfortable place. Period. The end. Just how they are. So that is something that you guys may be looking at. That may be coming up for you, right? So, let's look at this chart because Uranus is really, really important right now. I know I talk a lot about Pluto, and he's important. We're never going to say he ain't important because you know how he is. He's like, oh, you don't want to pay attention to me? Okay, here you go. So we're looking at you, Pluto. We're looking at you. But I'm looking at the chart and I'm like, wow, Uranus is talking to everybody here. He's talking to everybody here. Okay. So here's Uranus, right? And he's retrograde. So rethink, redo, all the re's, reassess, revise, all the re's, right? And look what he's doing. Let's look at Mercury. So we're going to start with Mercury. Okay. I got my notes here so I don't forget which one. Because y'all saw the last time I didn't write in notes. I forgot where it was at. So here's Mercury. He's definitely talking to Mercury, right? And he is in conjunct or quincunx, okay? He's quincunx Mercury. Mercury wants to process. Mercury wants to help you process. Mercury wants to help you communicate to the world, communicate to yourself, process what's going on, right? He's quincunxing. So he's talking, Uranus is talking to Mercury, and these are 2 planets that have, or 2 signs that have nothing in common, right? That's what a quincunx is. They have nothing in common, but they have to work together because there's a lot of energy flowing there, right? So something's trying to come about with this processing, with this communication, okay? We can get clues because Mercury is in Libra, right? And Uranus is in Taurus, but Mercury's in Libra. So Mercury being in Libra right now is like being diplomatic, seeing both sides, trying to even it out, having to deal with relationships, right? How are we going to do this? What do we want? Why is this system not doing what they're supposed to be doing? How are we going to balance that? What are we going to do about this, right? That's just one thing that he's talking to, one planet that he's talking to. Then he's talking to Lilith as well. And Uranus has a sesquiquadrant, and you guys know we've already talked about sesquiquadrants and what they are, right? So, what is this sesquiquadrant with Lilith? Lilith, does not play nice with people. She don't like to be told what to do, but Uranus is like, hell yeah, I want to give you your freedom. And she's like, hell yeah, I want my freedom, right? But she has to play by Libra's rules. And so Uranus is talking to Lilith. Uranus is talking to Mercury, right? Lilith, Mercury. There is some way that we can do this that will satisfy Lilith and satisfy Uranus to be able to get your freedom, to be able to have your freedom around you. It's just about processing this. Maybe saying something finally that you hadn't. Maybe listening to something finally that you hadn't, right? Maybe finally getting angry enough to do something about this way to get your freedom. Is all this making sense? So that's the other one. Okay, so we got a quincunx 2, Mercury. We've got a sesquiquadrant to Lilith. We have an opposition to Venus, right? So Uranus wants to give you the freedom Venus in Scorpio is like, you have got to put the boundaries down. You've got to not let people go over your boundaries. And you've also got to respect other people's boundaries. And you really have to dig deep for the way that you want your life to be stable, to have freedom, to have luxury. Are you worth it, Taurus? Are you worthy? Because this is Taurus's, Venus is Taurus's ruler, right? But it's got to play by Scorpio's rules. And Scorpio wants to go deep and be the rising phoenix. They want to come out with the answer, but you got to go deep. You got to ask yourself those questions. Is this life all about fight and strife and awfulness and barely getting what we want and barely surviving? Or is it that maybe this life is about that, but also at this time of our life, it's time for the stability. It's time to bring in new ways. It's time to have abundance. It's time to have stability. Many people have not had a lot of stability in the last 4, 5, 8 years, 10 years, right? Maybe it's time to have stability. These are the questions. Have you let people cross your boundaries? Have you been crossing people's boundaries? This is all Venus and Scorpio, right? But why? Because they want to give you your freedom. Uranus wants to give you the freedom. Is there really a shortage of food? Is there really a shortage of kind people? Is there really a shortage of land? Is there really a shortage of, I mean, that's all us seeing that in the retrograde, us dealing with that since 2018. And now we're seeing the truth of things. But are we going to ignore it? Are we going to go back to what we've always done? Or are we really headed in the direction that we think we're headed? But for that, we are going to have to take some action. We are going to have to stand up for ourselves. Does that make sense? Now, today, Uranus is trining the moon, and Uranus is also trining Pluto. Okay? Now, you know, trines are a gift. You don't have to do anything. They're just there. They'll fall in your lap. It's a trine. Okay? So, emotionally, or the way that you see things, Mercury is about processing these things that you see, but the moon is about you seeing it the way that you see it, your own unique perspective. Okay? What am I looking at here? That's what the moon and Uranus. The moon in Capricorn. Where is the stability? What type of stability do I want? What type of abundance? What type of luxury? What type of food? What type of land? What type of relationships? What type of money do I want to get? Right? That's all Capricorn, Taurus. It's a trine, right? You're seeing it. Have you dealt with these last 16 years with Pluto? Pluto at this point is rewarding for those traumas that you've gotten through, for the understanding and stepping into your power. Okay, Uranus is like, are you free? You're free, right? You're free. In this part, with this thing that you have held in your DNA or in your other lives, or the psychological bullshit that you finally let go of, I'm here to give you a gift. That makes sense? So that's what's going on with Pluto and the moon, which is something that you feel. It could be an awakening of some sort. It could be uh, an epiphany. Oh my God, why didn't I see that? Oh my God, why am I doing it that way? Oh my God, I'm making it so much harder for myself. Oh my God, I love my life now. Did I actually do this? Wow. Like there's an epiphany there. There's like this awakening there. Okay. Now remember, Pluto is a slow moving planet, and so is Uranus. So that doesn't mean just on today that this is happening. These are outer planets. These are going to be for a minute, okay? Mercury moves a little bit faster. Mercury moves faster. Sorry, Venus moves a little bit faster. Lilith moves slow. Like these are all slow. This isn't just a 1 day thing. This is what's going on with the retrograde. And again, till January 30th of 2025. Okay? I'm just sort of giving you some of the conversations that they're having. They've been having this conversation for a couple of weeks, a month, some of them. Okay? They're going to continue to have that, right? Then there's a sextile between Uranus. It's like Uranus is standing up and he's like, "Hey, you, have they stood for their boundaries? Hey, you, Mercury, have they processed and understood? Hey, you, Venus, have they gone deep enough and understood and really come out with their truth?" Right? All of this is going on. This is what Uranus is saying. I need, and Uranus and Pluto and Saturn and Neptune are retrograde. So these are all redos, revise, right? So these aren't revisions, but this is revised. This planet, Uranus, is like, take a look again. Let's make sure. Because when I go direct, it's going to be a different thing, right? Let's make sure. Let's revise. Do you want to pivot? I'm giving that. For those of you that say that the planets are against you, this is Uranus saying, I'm giving you another shot. Which way do you want it to go? Right? So it's sextiling Neptune. Here's your creativity. Here's your manifestation. Even if you had Saturn right next to here, like let's just pretend Saturn was at 26 degrees, right? If it was sextile Uranus, you can still manifest out of nowhere because that's Uranus. The one thing about Uranus is whatever you think it is, it's something completely different. That's just Uranus. Uranus always wants to make it shock and awe. Uranus loves to throw you off. Uranus loves to put a wrench in it to make that freedom come through. And if whatever he's got to do, he's going to do. Okay? So with this sextile with Neptune, all you have to do is take an action. A sextile is a gift that comes to you, but you need to put some energy into it. That energy of action doesn't necessarily mean I got to go do something. It could just mean I have to put my focus on it. That's energy. That's an action. That's an intention. That's the same thing, right? So there is something that Neptune retrograde. Let's look at this again. Let's revise. Let's make sure. What do we believe? What am I seeing? Let's make sure. And then let's focus on it. Let's intend. And there's a gift here. You just have to take an action. Okay? Uranus is saying that all of this to all of these planets. Okay? And then it is, where I just said it's sextile, it's quintile Saturn. Okay? It's talking to like all these planets. It's quintile Saturn. A quintile is a hidden talent. Something that you have within you that's hidden, that isn't really shown, that you don't even probably think it's a talent. But what will it do? This particular talent with Saturn is telling me my belief system and my understanding is going to make this freedom and stability. How do I do it? I don't know. There's something within me. It could be something that you're already doing or that you're thinking of doing, and then you have to take the action for it, and Neptune helps bring it to you for stability, for the food, for the land, for the agriculture, for the money, for the way that you make your money. All that makes sense? So he is talking to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 planets. He's talking to all of them. He's not talking to Chiron, but he's talking to all of them, right? He's actually talking to Chiron, but I'm not going to do that aspect. But he's talking to all of them. Mars is the only one that Mars is the only one that isn't like a definite whatever, but he's talking to all of them and he's saying, this is the way to have it done. And I'm just checking in with y'all because I'm about to blow up some stuff like he's been doing with the hurricanes, with what we're seeing in the government, with what we're seeing in these healthcare and the school systems and all of this, right? This is a whole story. When I come to you guys and I'm talking about one or two or three aspects, that's only part of the story. There's a bigger whole story, but that would take hours for me to do, right? So we're kind of adding on to the story, adding on to the story as we go along. Does all that make sense to everybody? One more thing before you guys can talk or have any questions. During this retrograde until, and this is excluding if you have plans, because so this is until January 30th. Okay. Again, energy doesn't stop and start, so it doesn't mean right on the 30th it stops. That's not the way it works. Okay. So if you are with Uranus, if you are in Taurus, and so if you guys in Taurus have anything between 21 degrees and 15 minutes and 29 degrees and 15 minutes, you are really going to be affected. Okay. I mean, Uranus is going to be straight in your face. Okay. Because it's in your sign, and it's been in your sign, but this is a retrograde. Okay. So it's this battle of I got to do it, but I don't want to do it, but I got to do it, but I should do it, but I want to do it, but it's going to make me uncomfortable. And I don't know if I'll do it. Right. Now, if Aries, where's Aries? And Gemini, if you're Aries and Gemini, if you're an Aries or you're a Gemini, ascending, okay? This is a semi-sextile, right? So that means Uranus is semi-sextile, right? What's a sextile? A sextile, I told you, is like you have to do an action to get this opportunity to go forward, right? A semi-sextile is not as overt as a sextile. It's like the subtle energy. You know how you guys get this feeling of, I should probably do this, or I have a feeling I should do this. That's a semi-sextile. And when you do it, it gives you the opportunity. It's not in your face and you know exactly what to do. It's just this feeling that you have that you should do this or something, right? So Aries, Gemini, you may be feeling that way. You may be getting these spots where you're like, yeah, I should probably do this. Oh, I don't even know what this is, right? Now, if you're a Cancer or Pisces, then it's a sextile, right? So, and we already talked about how Neptune is right there and Saturn is right there, right? So that whole house is sextiling this whole house. This whole house is sextiling this whole house, which means listen to your intuition. You kind of already know where the freedom's going to get you, or that you can have the freedom, that you can have the stability. You just have to take that action. Okay? Leo and Aquarius, it is squaring you. Okay? So here's Leo, here's Aquarius. Uranus is squaring your house. So Taurus house squaring your house. Okay? That means it's a little tougher. One wants to do it one way. Taurus is like, these are all fixed. Aquarius is fixed. Taurus is fixed. Leo's fixed. Leo's like, no, I know exactly how to do it. I've done this before. I'm not going to mess it up. Taurus is like, no, we got to do it this way. And Aquarius is like, no, I'm the smarter one. We've got to do it this way, right? That's that energy. But what needs to happen is you need to work together. Taurus and Leo need to work together. That means Taurus needs to take a book from Leo's bravery and just do it. And Leo needs to take a book from Taurus's stability and not move so fast and think about it and maybe plan a little, right? Same thing with Aquarius. Get out of your head. Get to moving. You're not always right. You do know better, but you don't know everything. That makes sense? Tina says chance kids. Okay. Now, Capricorn, Virgo. Virgo, Capricorn, right? Virgo, Capricorn. That's a trine. That's because that's your sister. That's your sign. That y'all are all Earth, right? So there's your trine. So you have gifts coming when you act that way to make yourself stable. Capricorns know how to make themselves stable. Virgos know how to make themselves stable. Taurians know how to make themselves stable. What you're working on is your freedom. I want to be able to do the things that I want to do, but I understand that I have to work with people in the relationships that I have. Capricorn, but you've already been through this Pluto, so you should be pretty clear about how to do this. Virgo, you're being a little bit stubborn because you are smart and you are wise, but you can see it. It's a it's a trine. So you're going to get gifts. It may not be the gift you think. You may not feel it in that way sometimes. You may think, well, I only got that gift because everything else messed up. You may think of it that way. When really that gift is going to become bigger than you even know. You just got to give it a chance, right? So, Scorpio, it is opposing you, right? Scorpio, it's opposing you. So, you want to work together, but you can't hear what you're saying. Scorpio's like, I know how to be stable. I know what I want in life. And Taurus, Uranus is like, are you sure about that? Are you sure? Are you sure? I know you go deep, but did you tell yourself the truth? Not everybody else, but did you tell yourself the truth? And did you really separate the part of you're doing it for you because that's what you really want, or you're doing it because that's what you were told that that's what you really want, right? And then Sag and Libra, Sag, Libra, it's quincunx. And we already talked about what quincunxes are, right? So Uranus is quincunxing you. A quincunx is, they don't have anything in common, but they must work together to solve this problem, right? Exactly. But they must work together because there's a lot of energy flow there. They're meant to work together to solve the problem. But these two energies must work together because the energy flow is perfect for them to work together. That's just the way it's supposed to be. That's the way you wanted it to be. To solve whatever this problem is, to make you free, to make you stable, to make you earn the money that you want, right? To have the food that you want, to have the luxuries that you want, to have the worth that you deserve, right? Okay, so that's Uranus. Does anybody have any questions about Uranus? Does anybody have any questions about what I said? And especially if you have a planet in any of those signs. So if you're Cancer and you have a planet in your house, in your first house, at 21 degrees in 15 minutes to 29 degrees in 20 in 15 minutes, then it's part of the conversation with Uranus. Okay? Same thing with Pisces, same thing with Leo, same thing with all of you. Okay? If there is a planet in your first house that has 21 between 21 degrees and 29 degrees in 15 minutes, then it is also part of the conversation. Okay? So listen, one more thing before I go. I had told you guys that I asked you to give me some feedback about if we wanted to do something on Halloween. It's not going to be on Halloween, obviously, because I have my grandson and he comes first. I love you guys, but it's his Halloween. And he's little bitty. Anyway, either that weekend or the weekend before or a couple days before, it won't be on Halloween. But I thought we could all get together on my Discord and watch a movie. And I'm thinking, actually, I've already thought about it, that I want to do. So I'm going to post on my community tab. You guys are welcome to to give me some suggestions about movies, and then I'll poll it and see what we want to watch, right? But in the meantime, what we're going to do is if you join, you have to be subscribed to me um, to be able to enter this contest. We're going to have a costume contest. It's not going to be anything. You can do whatever you want. I want you to be as creative or not as creative, whatever. I'm not very creative. I mean, I'm Gen X. We had masks. That's what we did, right? So, anyway, costume contest. We're going to vote that night. There's going to be 3 prizes. And I think y'all will really like the prizes, but let's talk about the movies first. But the cost, so I'm telling everybody now, if you want to join the contest, you're really going to like the prizes. Trust me, you're really going to like the prizes. So, like, I think one of them is coffee time with me. Another is a set of herbs. We're just going to have prizes. We're going to have things to do. We're going to watch the movie. We're going to have some fun, right? So, um, please let me know. I will put on my community tab and just say, here's where I want you guys to give me some feedback about what movie we want to watch. And then, as it gets closer, I'll give you guys the Discord link and you guys can go into Discord and we'll all get to watch the movie there. I would love to do it on YouTube, but they don't allow that stuff. So we have to do it on Discord, right? But the great thing is I want us to all have fun. I want us to all lighten up. I remember I said old souls know how to play. They know how to have fun. They know how to live life, which is where we're at. We all decided to live life again, right? So, and not just the bare minimum, right? And so I would love for everybody to participate. And for that reason, I'm giving really good prizes. Okay. So, um, just look for that tomorrow. I think I'll write it out in the community tab. For those of you that don't know how to get to my community tab, all you do is you go to my channel and then you look on that top part where it says like videos, lives, things like that. And then you just scroll over and it'll say community and you click that and it'll take you to the community tab. And right there is where I write things down for you guys, like if I'm not going to be here or if something's up or blah, blah, blah. That's where I communicate with you guys, okay? So go to my community tab tomorrow. Some of you automatically, the algorithm will give it to you, but because it's like wording, the algorithm's really slow. So sometimes you don't get it for like 2 or 3 days. So that's why I'm letting you know. Go to the community tab, which all that's about to change because YouTube has devised a different way. We just got word about it a couple weeks ago, and I'm getting notices on my email about it now. So that's all going to change. But for right now, that's where we communicate on the community tab. Okay. I love you, love you, love you. Thank you so much for joining me for the first week. I'm so happy. Thank you for joining every night, each and every one of you, taking the time to like come and see me and listen to me babble. And I will see you on the next one. Bye.